What the theme of today is feet first. So, what are we doing with our feet? How is it affecting the rest of our alignment in our body? All sorts of good things. And it's just a really interesting topic. So, we're just gonna go a small little bit into what can be a very big, a weeks long workshop if we really wanted to. But we're gonna keep it simple and kind of fun. So what I would like for us to do is to come up to standing. We'll start there and then we'll ease our way down onto the floor. Some of our work is going to be the normal Pilates exercises, and some of them will get into a little bit more detailed of how the foot is, how we can strengthen the foot and the ankle. So let's start with before we get into the roll downs, I just want you to find your comfortable standing position. However wide that needs to be for you. Yep. And maybe close your eyes for a moment and just take a couple of deep breaths. And because we are going to be working on some details and some real fine movements in there, anytime you're feeling a little bit stressed, take a breath. And still with your eyes closed right now, I would like you to bring your attention down to the soles of your feet and just start to notice, do you have a tendency to put more weight on one leg or the other? You don't have to change anything at this point. It's just a noticing. More on one side, right side, left side. What's the pressure of the heels on the floor versus the balls of your feet? And can you bring your attention all the way down to your toes? Are you aware of the pads of your toes on the floor? Now, if this is feeling like you need to change the mat that you're standing on, if it's on the floor, if that's better, take your socks off. This is all going to be up to you. Still keeping your eyes closed, I'd like you to shift your weight from right to left. You're just rocking from side to side. Notice how your foot is moving. What does that feel like in the ankles? How far can you actually go over to the side? Still with the soles of the feet planted on the floor. Now I'd like you to even it out so that you're in your center between right and left. And we'll start that rocking from front to back. Rocking your weight a little bit more onto the balls of your feet and then more onto the heels. And just explore that movement a bit. And noticing how your toes are in contact with the floor. So as you shift your weight front, naturally we're going to start to grab the floor a bit with our toes. Is that response the same on your right and your left foot? Again, without changing anything, it's just curiosity, noticing. And I'd like you to find your balanced center. So somewhere in the middle between front and back and right and left. Once you've found that, open your eyes for a second. Good. Sort of take a breath here, noticing your surroundings again. Still safe, still doing good. Good. Your first roll down will be with your eyes open. Take the top of your head and start to roll down bone for bone. And since you may be able to see your toes on that roll down, notice if toes are out long and relaxed or are they gripping the floor. And then start to roll back up to standing. Good. We'll do that again. Taking your time, eyes still open. Your feet receptive to the floor. So it's always giving information from where we are in space, and it relays it up to the brain, and it's a really important balance aspect of our body. We'll do one more of these roll downs, please. Okay. Once you've come all the way up to standing, we're going to focus on one ankle. You can leave your hands on your hips or just by your side. And what I'd like you to do is lift your heel off of the floor and bring your heel back down. So the ball of the foot is still in contact. We're lifting your heel and lowering your heel. And I'd like you to notice how is that toe mobility from the big toe down to the little toe. Do you still have contact with all your toes, those 5 toes on that side? Or however toes you may have. I have worked with clients that have less than 5. So good. Now I'd like you to lift your heel. And I'd like you to find the center of that ankle. Now that means that maybe your ankle is going a little bit out to the outside or to the inside. So why don't we rock back and forth in that ankle, the ball of your foot still on contact, in contact, but your heel is lifted. So now the driver of this movement is your ankle. Then find where you feel in the middle. Good. And then place your heel back down. Excellent. We'll do that on the other side. So we're lifting and lowering your heel on the other leg. Do you have the same toe mobility from right to left? Just as a little warning through this whole thing, because we're going to be doing so much footwork, there is a tendency for your foot muscles to cramp because this is, it's a different type of challenge, or the calf muscle. So if you need to stop and stretch it out or massage it, you do that. Feel free. Now I'd like you to lift your heel off, and now we're going to look through that ankle mobility inside and outside. Which toes are staying in contact with the floor? Again, no right or wrong here. Genetically, we're all, our angles are all a little bit different. Length of those toes, and also the flexibility of your foot. Good. I'd like you to bring back to your center and then place the heel back down onto the floor. We're going to be lifting and lowering your heels at the same time. Lifting your heels all the way up and all the way down. And I'd like you to look for your maximum. Hands wherever feel comfortable. And as we're doing this, I'd like to, so now that's the motion, right? Lifting and lowering your heels. But I want you to think about pressing the ground away from you. Press the floor away from you. See if that changes the like how we are attempting the movement. To press down. Good. Now stop for a moment. Imagine that you have a helium balloon, a big, huge balloon, and it's tied to your shoulders or your head or your hair. And I want you to imagine that balloon making you so light that the heels lift. Okay, and try to really embody that image. Just noticing, does that make you feel more stable or less stable? Then use the image that works best from you. So either pressing the ground away or imagining that balloon lifting you up. Lift your heels just a centimeter off of the floor, so they're just a tiny bit off. Find that nice middle ankle feeling, toes spread out wide on the floor. And I'd like you to take the top of your head and then do a roll down with that light lift of your heels. And then you'll take your time to roll all the way back up. Once you've gotten back up, you'll put your heels down to the ground, take a breath. We do get another try of that one, because sometimes it's a little bit intimidating at the beginning. So heels just a little bit lifted. We don't have to go all the way up. And again, that roll down. Good. Heels come down. Perfect. And our last of our roll downs, feet, again, heels stay on the ground. Find your middle point. Close your eyes. And this is your last one. Close your eyes. Heels safe on the floor. And all the way back up. Great, everyone. So we're going to take this and we're going to go straight to sit on the floor, and we're going to work on our toe exercises next. Okay, I know they don't sound very glamorous, but they are they're really good brain work. So let's go with a close-up here. Good. If your socks haven't been off, I do recommend taking them off now so that you can really focus all of your attention on your toes. All right, pick a foot. Does not matter which foot we are starting with. And we're working on some details. If it doesn't happen at the very beginning, don't worry. It's just a process of practice and we'll get it. So I'm usually holding on to my shin so that my foot doesn't walk away from me. But the first exercise, I hope you can see that, the ball of your foot is going to stay on the floor, and I'd like you to lift all 5 toes from the floor. 5 toes off and back on. And I'd like you to try to lift all of them with the same intensity. Sometimes we have a little bit lazy big toe or little toe. Great. And now is where our fun begins. Leave 4 of the little toes on the ground. Just pick your big toe off of the ground and back down. You might want to place your hand onto your little toes to give it a little bit of a, stay down, little toes. So big toe is now your mover, let's say. Good. We'll leave big toe on vacation. Big toe stays down. 4 other ones lift off of the floor. All right. And I'm just going to give the little check. Sometimes it's helpful to be looking at your toes. Sometimes it's helpful to look away It just depends on how your relationship is right there. Sometimes you have to look somewhere else and just concentrate on the feeling of lifting. All right. I think we've mostly found that. Now we're going to be switching. Big toe, 4 toes. Big toe, 4 toes. Good, and let's give your poor leg a little bit of a break. Good, give it a little rub down there. You notice that the shin is working a lot, the calf muscles, and of course the sole of the foot. So feel free to just give it a little extra love before we go to the other side, because we got a lot more to go. All right, let's take a look at your other leg. You don't have to be doing this seated on the floor. I should have mentioned this before. You can be also on a chair, and it works equally as well. But let's get to all toes off, all toes on. All right, we do know what's coming, right? Let's start with the 4 little toes now. 4 little toes, big toe on vacation. You just continue on, and I'll blabber on for a moment. So because this is our contact with the floor, we are getting so much valuable information from our feet all the way up to our brain, where we are in space, what our balance is doing. It is always good to be working, even though it's not that glamorous, it's always good to be working on our feet. It's good to prevent falls later on in life, but just in general, anyways, because we're a culture that wears shoes most of the time, we're missing a little bit of that activity for our feet. Leave your 4 toes down, take your big toe off. Big toe up and down. And just sort of noticing, like, is this side feeling the same as the other side felt? Do you feel, a little bit more safe or more insecure? And when you're ready, you're going to be switching 4 toes, big toe. Good. Let's give our poor little shin bone and foot a little bit of love right there. Good. All right, we're going back to the first side because we can't just leave it like that. We got more. This time, our foot is going to grab the floor. So you want to spread your toes, grab something, pick it up, and then drop it. That's the idea. Grab, pick, drop. So now we're working with our toes, and the sole of your foot is going to get a little bit more, say, activity going on. Good. Now we're going to reverse that. We're going to press something away. So press away. Curl the toes and out. And I'm always looking for a full, the biggest movement that you have with your toes and also your ankle. Well done. Now I'd like you to stretch that leg out long. We're staying with that leg. Your leg is going to stay still, but you're in a flex. And I'd like you to, it's like a windshield wiper. Bring your foot from side to side. And the tricky part of what I'm going to ask for now is that the sole of your foot is really wiping off something rather than curling eversion, inversion. I just want that movement without letting your little toe curl in or the blade of your foot. So it really stays like this instead of this. There we go. Now give it even more movement. I want you to go inward and outward, so you're really working your ankle. The edge of your foot is curling in and out. Great. Leave your foot alone. Maybe give yourself a stretch. Go as far down as feels comfortable. If you do have a hold of that foot, give it a little bit of a massage or your shin or your ankles. Alrighty. Our other foot awaits us. We had a grabbing from the floor. We still have all of this stuff. So we're going to take our toes, spread them out wide, grab something, pick it up, and if you were interested, you can actually pick something up off of the floor. Sometimes we used to strengthen our feet when we were dancing by using a towel, and you pull the towel to you, and then you press that towel away. Sometimes it gives us a little bit more for our brains to do right there. Okay, now let's press away. So if you had a towel, you are then pushing it away from you with every little millimeter of movement there. Excellent. Stretch your leg out long. Your leg is going to stay still. We're just doing the movement in the ankle. And it's that windshield wiper, like just saying a little, like a princess hello. Just a little wave right there. And then you'll let the corner of your foot go inwards and outwards and see if you can find a bit more movement in there. Great. Let your foot relax and lean all the way front. And we're going to come up to our soles together, knees apart. Now, it is a stretch for the hips depending on how we're built. We're still keeping it on the toes. I'd like you're going to pay attention just for 1 second. Your hand is, these are my feet. It's easier to see it right here. So what you're doing is you're taking your pinky toe, the second toe, all the way through, and you're going to touch them. So it's going to go like that, right? But with your toes. So look down to your feet and bring those toes so that they have contact. There's a lot of different ways. You can start always with the little toe, or start always with the big toe, or go up and down like a little rainbow there. So that middle section of toes wants to move together, right? So we want to try to really separate them out. We have about 4 more repetitions to go. And then let your feet relax and maybe lean towards the front a bit, just so we get that extra stretch in the hips. Great. Well done. Thank you for joining me today. I hope it was interesting and fun. If you're looking for some more ideas for your practice and you're a teacher, grab our free ebook, 100 Pilates themes for your classes. If you're looking for something else in your body, check out one of our other videos coming right up and give us a like and a follow.